My name is Tony Mason, a world-renowned drummer from Trinidad and Tobago, the beautiful islands of Trinidad and Tobago. My first interaction with Killer is a little bit of a story, but I'll try and make it as short as possible. My uncle and his son used to work at the Hilton Hotel. So this was back in the 70s. My uncle was the manager of food and beverages at the Hilton, and his son was a chef. One day, my uncle told me that there was this little kid that comes and plays at the poolside with the Samaroo Jets family. And he said, well, one day he made a promise that he would pick me up on there and he would take me up, depending on the shift and whatever. Anyway, long story short, he did that. And my first introduction to Killer was at the Hilton poolside. We weren't introduced then. It took a few of those trips before I built the courage to go up and ask my uncle if he could introduce me to Killer. Killer is literally the first celebrity drummer I met. I was still in primary school, and I know that Killer was still at that age as well, because he's probably a couple of years older than me. Funny enough, I spoke to Cole Killer yesterday, and I said, Killer, when were we actually introduced as grown professionals, like teenagers doing their thing? Killer said, Mason, I can't remember, but we've been friends for so long. So we were friends from the age of about 8, 9, and that was as I said, and I'll say it again, that was the first celebrity drummer I met, because the Samaroo Jets, they were the band, they were the band. But he had a joke as well. You think Killer could only play drums? I saw with my 2 eyes Killer limboing under the short Coke bottles. You used to have the long one, and you used to have the short, fat one. Killer limboed under that bar. And that's something that stuck with me for all these years. Every time I think of him, I see him as a drummer, but he blew me away with that one, because that wasn't even part of the show. Killer limboed under, there couldn't be more than 6 inches or 7 inches. Couldn't be more than that.
Everybody who's new to the band, we have a lot of new people. That this is a foundation member of not only Supernovas, but the Samaroo Jets, where this whole thing started from. Killer has done a lot for not only culture, but youth. Not only youth, but Trinidad and Tobago, right? Starting at an early age. Killer, what age you start drumming?
Right? 5 going in 6.
5 years, eh?
Yeah.
That's not 5 years ago, eh?
Right, so I started to play drums in there.
Alright, so the amount of work this man has done in his life, I don't think it really does blow people's minds still, in terms of the kind of contribution Killer give to Trinidad and Tobago. So we must say thank you for that, and thanks for everything you have done for not only Supernovas, but the culture of Trinidad and Tobago.
Personally, my biggest achievement is Samaroo Jets. Honestly speaking, Samaroo Jets. Because without Samaroo Jets, I wouldn't be what I am today, or where I am today. And talking about it, I started to get emotional, I should tell you. We was a unique family. We think along the same line. So it was easy to manage. I managed Samaroo Jets for more than 20 years. Travel the world with Samaroo Jets, see about everything. When Samaroo Jets traveling, I see about everything. The members don't have nothing to do. More than 2 them pan up the hill and 2 them back down the hill, I go to custom, I clear the instrument, make sure when we reach in a country, we check in the hotel, everybody have the room, meals arranged. I did it all for them. The last tour we make was China. And we spend more time traveling than really performing or playing. One of our longest trips is Sri Lanka. We spent 6 months in Sri Lanka. But I had to say we blessed that we travel a good bit. We didn't travel the whole world, but we see a good bit of the world. We used to travel like if we ride in Maxi, we come in tonight and we leave in the next evening, to go to our next country, Yeah. Sometimes we pan in custom, we leave it there because it has to trip back out. So we had a great time. We can't complain at all.
Your band is only as good as your drummer. If you're going to a great drummer, your band will sound great. If you got a decent drummer, you might get away with it. As a drummer, Killer is little short of a phenomenon or a freak of nature. Killer is different. His concept, the way he thinks, the way he applies his thinking to the instrument. There are things Killer would play, and I have to sit down and work it out in order to be able to apply it myself. He's very articulate in his, even in his sound, the way he applies himself to the kit. Everything he does sounds crisp, tight. He's in control, and that's one of the things that I could, that stays with me, or stayed with me from then till now. You could tell he put a lot of, he sacrificed a lot. He practiced a lot. You could tell it. He made those things that I'm talking about as a professional drummer now. Looking at it, he made it look simple. But if, you really apply yourself and try to do what he's doing, then you realize, it's four-way coordination in a complex way. Each limb is doing something completely different, compensating for, I don't know, whatever he's hearing in his head, maybe little percussive voices or whatever,
If you were to give one accolade, what would it be?
Killer is a man who literally gave his life to drumming, to the Trinidad and Tobago culture. He's definitely an innovator. If you listen to certain things he's done, recordings, Stranger with Shadow, they're quite a lot of stuff. Look, recordings he's done, they're very unusual. It's not the norm. His approach is different. So, as a hard question, hear what? I will just give him the letters, to be quite honest, the DR, just like they gave his brother, Jet Samaroo, because of his level of commitment. He literally gave his life. And you know what? He's still given to this day, where he gave lessons, even though he suffered, I think he had multiple strokes. He still give lessons. He's still pouring into the, So if I had to give him any accolade, I'll give him the letters, the DR. I'll give him the doctor, because his brother got it. And Jit represented. Killer was behind Jit. I'm sure he was a big inspiration to Jit as well, as drummers tend to be, to arrangers, you know what? A lot of people who have transitioned, there are people who are still with us, present, who deserve to get. Musicians across the board, but today I love being for drummers. Musicians across the board, but there are people who created that sound to our music, and they're not really acknowledged as they should be. And that's just my personal. Some people might disagree with me, but I'm in the kitchen, so I know what it takes to get your craft to a certain level where people would see you as a professional. It takes hours and hours, perseverance and discipline. So yeah, to answer your question, I'll give him the DR. Straight up. He deserves that, just like his brother. Killer, he deserves the DR, boy. Take the letter.
I would like to say thank you for this. It showed the appreciation from Supernovas and the players and all who were on Ahmed and I've been here with them and I enjoy every moment and still enjoy coming here and listening to the band, and what small contribution I can still make, I would love to do. Right? I played for Panama. I was a player Cowell. First I wanted to play. I said, I have to play on that rock, right? You know how hard it is for I was to sit down and watch listen and somebody else and my nephew play drums. I the hardest thing I could do. But I did it because I wanted to do it. Right? So I still determined to play sometime in the, I don't know how long the good Lord will bless me to carry on playing and make a contribution. I played drum for 54 years, right? I made contribution as playing drums, right? And I still want to play. If I had to continue, if it's just a teach or something, pass on the knowledge, I would love to do that. And I know I would have the opportunity to use these facilities here for my contribution to Surrey and Trinidad and Tobago. But student 5, if they can come here to learn from me, I'm willing to do that.
To be honest with you, the only other project I would really want to have and do is if the good Lord could give me back what He blessed me with and give me that full time so I could come out there and play again, That is my love, that is my passion, That is all I want.
But I just not have a person of speak, right? I prefer sit down behind a drum kit and play. The whole night we want me to put the talk. Well, first begin they have to excuse me for my speech, right? Because I had a stroke and I just had to take my time and talk. But sometimes I get very emotional since I had a stroke, right? Not that I don't get emotional before that, but more now, more so now, right?
The reason that I'm not active playing drums and things for Panama again, especially, is because in 2019, March of 2019, I had a stroke, and that took away a lot from me. I couldn't play as I used to play. I don't have the kind of coordination. I don't have the energy to put out behind to play for a 100-piece steel band. But I still volunteered to play a little cowbell and keep active and, just for the love of music, and the love of Panama. I really do nothing except maybe as part of my therapy, teach a little class on a weekend. And I can't teach most set of people, maybe 1 or 2 classes, and after that the brain get tired. So I had to rest up. And listen to music and enjoy the music. And sometimes I will go with my kit and practice and thing. But the instrument is a noisy instrument. So I have to choose my time when I'm choosing to practice and play, because family around resting. I don't like to. One thing about Samaroo Jets never practice in the night, We used to practice in the day. So we never get no complaint about, but people be making noise. And even that, the love in this village here, we never get a complaint thing. They were so happy when we go competition, we win and whatnot. And thing. It was a blessing to be, so these are the kind of thing I just think now, in the sense that, so when I had time, but I love listening music and all kind of music. I will get up in the morning and I put to listen Indian music, I put on Indian music. In the evening I put to listen jazz, I put on jazz. I'm a Kaiso man, so I always have my Kaiso day, especially Kaiso from the 50s and 60s and thing coming up there, because I enjoyed, I like the humor and the storytelling in them. And then the melody used to be different, not like one melody here all the time, So this is the I enjoy now.
What role does being a professional musician play in your emotional and mental health?
They prepare me mentally to do things, to play, because I have to focus on what I have to do, right? And forget about every other thing that's happening in my life along that point in time, because especially now, with how now I am sick in the sense that my stroke and things, it takes a lot for me mentally to play, because I have to focus and that the stick a toll on me, because yes, I could play, and my coordination somewhat okay, but to remember a whole song, all the phrasing and stops and whatnot, it takes plenty from me. I look forward to a Sunday morning to go to church and drum and play, and that too does be not challenging, but I would say it is a kind of challenge, because I do rehearse with the choir and the congregation and whatnot. I go and play on the spot. So, and it's Presbyterian, they have traditional hymns, right? So these things were never really written for rhythm. So now I just have to wait until the start at 1 bar, 2 bars, and then I will try to fit a rhythm to suit, to play alongside what it is. And when we finish and service over, Mr. Samuel, you're well uplifting service this morning, man. I said, thank you. So it'll be nice. It'll be nice. I played in Pannist since the age of 10 years old. Not literally drum, but percussions and whatnot. But actually playing, I started at the age of about 10 years old. But, and God has been good to me. This is more than 6 years, and I'm still going strong. I'm not bedridden. I'm still moving about, and I'm blessed. It will be an easy thing, but I love the challenge. I'll go in and play, and I am missing it for nothing. I'm thankful for all the people who have supported me in any way that they did. I want to say thanks to Mr. Serret for organizing this particular venture here. I want to say thanks to Mr. Cian Gomez for giving me the privilege to come into UTT to do a professional workshop, which I prepared drum scores for they had was to play, which was something not new, but something that I was the only drummer has done that, to prepare a whole drum score based on a Panorama song to play for all the students to play. And also I would like to thank Mr. Jesse Willett for doing my bio, or we still doing the bio, or I should say Dr. Jesse Willett, because he's a doctor in percussion, and also invited me to do a workshop for CCU, Coastal Carolina University. He in charge of the administrator. So I did a workshop. I did the same workshop for them. I shared scores, and they had a play and whatnot. So these are the people I would really like to thank, in my journey too, and my family and friends and who support me. Thanks a lot.